how you got into hip hop, like how you got into this dancing.
I got into the dance primarily because of the music. Um, I got into it really when I was young. I was like, I don't know, about 12 or 13 years old, and I saw uh, a cousin of mine, my cousin Charles, was doing the dance that I saw on Soul Train, which was popping. And when I saw him join, he jumped in a cipher with a bunch of other guys doing, popping in the cipher. This is the first time that I saw the dance live, but I saw somebody that I knew that could do it. It was my cousin, so
Right.
it was my inspiration. But I didn't find, and then from that I got into breaking and into high school. And it was when I got into high school that my friend's brother explained to me that the dance is part of a bigger culture, because he was an MC and his friend was a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
They explained to me that this whole thing is called hip hop. And I was like, wow, this is something that I love. I think I'm gonna have fun just trying it out, and it took over my life.
Okay. That's great. That's great. So, how your father literally influenced you in your life? How your father was a very good influential person in your life?
First and foremost, he influenced me because he gave me his name. I'm literally after my dad. He's senior, I'm junior. So
Yeah.
I got to say that that's my biggest influence, because, whenever they speak his name, whenever I speak my name, I'm speaking his name. So, but I mean, he inspired me in multiple ways. My father was always insistent that I, think, that I always use my brain. And he was always insistent that I pay attention, and that if I'm going to do something, I got to do it to the best of my ability, or don't do it at all. And he was always, wanting me to, he taught me to stand up straight, to always, express myself how I feel, not based on what other people think, but how I think. And also, he always wanted me to be dressed nicely. When I was a young boy, he bought me my first suit, and I wore it once.
Okay.
And I never wore it again. And I think he bought me that suit. It cost him $300, and $300 in that time
Oh,
was like $1,000. And he bought me the suit,
right,
and
right.
I wore it maybe once or twice, and I never wore it again. And he never forgot that. And when I became an
Right,
adult, he
right.
was like, laughing that I never wore suits. But then when I became an adult, I started to wear sport coats all the time and blazers. And it made him
Mm-hmm.
laugh, because
Mm-hmm.
he said, all your life I tried to get you to wear a suit, you wouldn't wear it. And now here you fall
Mm-hmm.
in love with sport coats and dress up now. It used to make me
Right.
laugh. But, that's another influence. He always made me understand what, style is, what expressing yourself. If you look good, you feel good, you think good.
So, expressing yourself. So, how dance is connected to this statement?
Well, dance is a physical expression of how the music makes you feel. So when you hear music, it denotes an emotion. It affects you in a certain way. It might excite you. It might, depress you. It might, make you fearless. It might make you hungry. It might make you, angry. So the dance is an expression of that emotion. And the dance is how you express how the music makes you feel, and how, if you
Mm-hmm.
want to express that, you want someone else to see your story, but you don't want to tell it to them verbally. You tell it through the music physically.
Right. So, can you please explain the evolution of music, how that the music is evolved in over a certain period of time.
Well, I mean, music, just like everything else in life, is change. Um, the sound will always change because the human beings that are, expressing that energy are expressing it through change. So uh, here in the States, you had what they call gospel music. Then you had ragtime, which led to jazz music, with swing, and then big band, and then blues music, and then rhythm and blues, and rock and roll, and salsa, and funk, and soul, and hip hop, and house, and electronic music, and now trap, and snap, and it's just different terminologies for different feelings in the music. So from my perspective, it's not that the music has changed, it's that your ear has changed to how you hear it and how it feels. But it's all music. It's just like water. You drink different bottles of water and you think they all taste different, but it's all fucking water.
Uh-huh.
So,
So, talking about change, you are from literally from like very, very, very old days. They ever used to have parties, clubbing scenes and everything. So, tell us something about how parties and clubbing scenes was there at that time.
when okay, the how we're having this conversation and how people are listening in or typing in and tuning in, this happened in the club. Okay, this what to music.
Okay.
So that's what this is. That's the original social experiment, the social communication. We were in the clubs having this very conversation about life and different things, but it's set to music. And it's set in an environment that you can express yourself however you want. It's a shared experience, and now, this is our club. Our club is Instagram or Facebook or, TikTok or Twitch, YouTube, and sometimes it's set to music, sometimes it isn't. But the general idea is the same: to share information, to share feeling, to share, the love of the music, dance, culture, and people.
Right, right. So, give us some idea about Soul Train.
Soul Train. This is the 50th anniversary of it also. Soul Train is a television show that started 50 years ago in Chicago, Illinois, one of the second biggest cities in the U.S. And it was a TV show started by gentleman Don Cornelius. It was based off of a different show called American Bandstand and other shows like it. But the difference was this show was created for black people, because at this time there were no black people on television. They didn't there was no focal point to see black people on TV, much less to see black music or hear black music on TV. And so Don Cornelius saw this, and he saw that there was a void, and he felt like he could fill it. So he started the show in Chicago called Soul Train, and then he moved it to Los Angeles, where he could, make it national. It was a local TV show at first, and then he made it national. And when it became national, it became a phenomenon. Soul Train ran on TV for almost 40 years. So, it was a cultural phenomenon because it showed black culture on television every week, and by culture, I mean black people, how we dressed, how we danced, how we moved, how we communicated, how we felt about each other and about life. That was that window every Saturday that it came on, and it was beyond inspirational.
Okay. Okay. So at that time, how like why the black culture was struggling, and why actually the black culture was struggling?
Oh, yeah, because America. Well, first and foremost, you got to understand that black culture is struggling here in America and globally because the struggle has always been against white supremacy. You know, people are not familiar with it because you can't relate to it at first, but if you dig into your own history, you'll find those remnants that we go through here are everywhere. And basically it's oppression, cultural oppression against black people. And so this TV show was a way to show that, you know, although we are, you know, looked at in not a positive light, we can show you that we're beyond positive. You know, we that the struggle is real, but, you know, we'll live through the struggle. We're going to rejoice as we struggle. We're going to, you know, give thanks through the struggle, because the struggle shows our togetherness and how we will overcome that struggle. And that struggle is embedded in the history of the United States and the history of the world, basically.
Correct. Yeah. So you are from that era where actually things were getting, you know, started. Things were actually coming up to the common people. So can you please tell us what is the difference? What do you think that what is the difference between the old school and the new school hip hop?
What is the difference?
Yeah.
For me, the difference is the mindset. For one, the terminology or the phrases old school and new school are not meant to be taken literally. Because if you take it literally, it sounds ridiculous. If you call hip hop old school, okay, old school and new school, is there old school and new school breaking? Is there old school and new school locking? No.
No.
Old school and new school salsa? Is there old school ballet and new school ballet? Doesn't sound quite right. Doesn't have the same ring to it. So what you're doing is basically there's a dynamic to it. You have the starting point, and then you have where people start adding more and more on top of it, and it grows. Just like you start small, and you start with hair on your head, and then your hair grows as you grow, and you cut it and it grows back. And when you started, you didn't have a mustache and beard. And it's the same, but it's different. So hip hop is the same, but it's different. You know, the music is the same, but it's different. Everything is about change and growth, and everything is about a spiral. We start here and we're just doing this. That's, you know, the essence of it. There's no old school or new school, because if you use that ideology, then what's older than old school? Older school? Ancient school? You know, it starts to get monotonous. It starts to sound ridiculous. So it's just, for me, it's a mindset. It's how far do you want to push the culture forward? When we started, we didn't need to push the culture forward. We didn't think about that. We were creating the culture. Now you have, we didn't have what you have. You have stuff that's already set for you to build on. We didn't know what we were doing. We were just doing it. And then we analyzed it. Now you have it set and built for you, and you can take it and rearrange it and run with it.
Right.
A whole skill set that we didn't have. The difference is we didn't think about the skill set. We created the skill set as we went and manipulated manipulated it to, you know, help us overcome our deficiencies. You guys are looking at the skill set that you already possess and you're over analyzing it instead of just letting it run and do what it's supposed to do and then analyze it. It's an action. You have to do it and then think about it. You know, now think of a way to do it differently instead of doing it differently and then think, oh, I did it different.
Right. So do you think that you being creating something and we getting everything, you know, just on a plate is something that we are very, it can act as a very backlash kind of a thing for us?
Well, it's not that it's that way. It's just that in this time, we're in the age of information, as they call it. And because information is readily available at a moment's notice, you don't have to work towards it. So the drive for it, the necessity for it isn't there because it's already laid out for you. If you wanted to find out something, when I was growing up, if I needed to find out something, I had to go to a library. I had to give in a library card. I had to look through an aisle, a building for specific books on what I was looking for. Now, you can just slide the screen over, click, Google, and find out whatever you want. So the saying is necessity is the mother of invention. You don't have the necessity now, so the drive to invent is no longer there.
Okay.
The drive to invent comes when you're put in a situation where you have to create. And that's what's good about this generation, the dance contest, the battles. The battles push people to create. They push the creativity. They push them to come up with new ways, new variations of things, you know, and that's a good thing. But it also pushed people to get away from the feeling of the culture. Now you're applying it like it's a sport, not like it's a dance. So there's a yin and yang to everything. You know, there's good and bad with everything, but the beauty of it is it's growing. And that's the best part of it. As long as it's growing, it's a good thing because growth is good for everyone. The problem is people stagnate. They want to question everything. And if you question everything and you don't apply the answers that you get to those questions, then you're not growing. You're stagnating.
Right. So talking about creativity, we see most of the people copying someone else's style and doing battles and also winning. So what is your comment over to them?
The thing is, that's what I mean. Copying. Everyone copies. It's human nature. You know, children copy their parents. They copy their siblings. They copy whatever they see. But along the way of you copying, your mind and your spirit kicks in and you start to do it your own way. That's what's lacking. People are stuck in the copying part and they've become comfortable copying. And that's not a good thing. You want to copy to a point where you understand, and now you have to take what you've copied and add you. Once you add you, you're no longer copying because you are going to do it a different way, and it's no longer a copy. So that's the equation. You have to add you to the copy and then change it, and it becomes a variation, a variable. And there's an endless number of variables. And you might just come up with a variable that everyone else starts to copy. And now your variable has become foundation.
Oh, right. So it's like that. Every dance style's foundation keeps on upgrading, or there are the same foundation that you have to keep on practicing, and then you have to build something else.
Well, what happens is it's called foundation because you're supposed to build on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, then what you're doing is it's just like when you if you read a book and you read that book and you memorize the lines and you read it to someone else, you're just telling them the book. If they ask you about what you learned from the book and you just tell them what you read in the book over and over again, you haven't learned anything. You're just memorizing the book. You have to read between the lines and read and find the application of what you read and apply it. That's the same in dance. You know, you take what's there and you add on top of it. You layer it so that it becomes something different, something new that someone else will look and then they'll layer it and then change it again. And what happens is it becomes here and people are building. And now, once everyone's building on it, it's foundation because that's what a foundation is. You build on top of it.
Right. So just like this, what kind of impact do salsa, ballet have on hip hop?
A great impact. I mean, all dance is interconnected. And so if you understand how the techniques and the application of the dance in multiple other genres, other styles, other forms, you can apply those in hip hop. Case in point, in ballet, what they call on point. You have to be on the point of your toes, correct? If you apply that to hip hop or to street dance, you'll get what they call floats and glides, and what they do in flexing and in juking, Memphis juking and in turfing, because it's the same application, the same technique, except you're not trying to be on point. You're trying to take that point and bend it so that you can do this, and it's the illusion of you floating, but it's the same technique. If you apply that technique in this dance, that's what it becomes. You know, that's what I mean. So all dance is interconnected. And the more of those connections that you understand, the better you will understand your own dance and every other dance, in my opinion.
Right. So as you said, juking. So what is Memphis juking?
Juking is a style that they do here in the U.S. in the South. Memphis is a city, Memphis, Tennessee, and they have a style of dance called Memphis juking that I believe comes from an older style called gangster walking. And basically, they do a lot of floats and glides and some amazing things with their legs and their feet. It's their own form of hip hop, you know. And if you look at it, if you apply the application of ballet, like I said, on point, you'll see how that works in juking and in flexing and in turfing, because all of these styles, they use a lot of what we call, from popping, glides, slides, floats, etc. So, but these are all different ways of expressing to different kinds of music. You know, flexors originally danced, well, there's flexing and then there's bruck up. And bruck up was originally part of dance hall and branched off. You know, turfing is basically the Northern California answer to hip hop, and they come out of the style of dance up there. It's called strutting. That's the older strutting and boogaloo, and then turfing came, you know, later. But everything is interconnected. Everything is built off of something else, you know, and that's the beauty of it. So the application from one style can help you in multiple other styles if you understand how to apply it.
Right. That's nice. I hope that people have got much of their information. Well, there is one interesting story how you met your crew mock top.
Hmm.
So can you please tell our audience that how you met them?
Well, I mean, part of my best friends, how we met is actually funny. I actually met Khalif when we were both still in high school. We were both going to night school, and
Mm-hmm.
we met then. We didn't really speak much, but we knew of each other, and we used to see each other at night school in the clubs. And then later, years later, I was doing a music video with a very important person named Diana Ross, and with a choreographer and a good friend of mine, Rosie Perez. She brought us
Mm-hmm.
all together for this music video for Diana Ross. And through her and the director of the video, you know, they put us together to go on tour with Diana Ross. But
Mm-hmm.
we never got to actually go because we didn't have proper work permits. We didn't have work visas.
Okay.
So when we got
Mm-hmm.
to the UK to go on this tour, we didn't have work visas, so they kicked us out of the
Mm-hmm.
country. So no tour for us. But since we got to hang out for that one time, and when we got back to the States, we started to hang out regularly, and we became, you know, best of friends and brothers. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, we had all, you know, we had all danced together at from that point on, and then other dancers that we all knew you know, from different places, we all came together, and that's how the crew, you know, came about. But it's really because of, as I said, Rosie Perez and this video for Diana Ross.
Mm-hmm. Talking about video, your first video was with Eric B and Rakim. So how was your experience over that time?
It was fun. I mean, at this time, you know, we didn't really know what music videos were. You know, there weren't any
Okay.
real rap videos yet. When you're talking about music videos and MTV, it was like rock videos, Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. There were
Mm-hmm.
no rap videos. So when I got a call that they wanted us to come to shoot this music video. So we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was in high school at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
it was actually my school was playing another school at the football game that day. My high school was South Shore High School, playing another high school, James Madison High School, and I was at that high school
Mm-hmm.
game, and I went from that game straight to do the video. And for us, it was just
Mm-hmm.
like any other time. You know, they put us in a room, they turned on some lights and cameras, and they said dance. And we did our little routines and we did our solos, and we thought, hey, cool, you know. And they gave us a little bit of money, and we went to the club. We thought,
Right.
you know, we saw that what they call dailies, where they show you the shots. But then the video never was released, and so
Mm-hmm.
we never thought anything of it. It wasn't until a year later that I went to go on tour with the group Houdini. God bless my boy Cliff Love for hooking me up, and the rapper Jalil. But I went to go on tour with them, and on the tour, we were touring with Eric B and Rakim. And shout out to my man Sonny. He was working with them also. And when we're on the road on the tour bus, he pulls out this video and he said, "Do you remember this?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he plays it, and I'm like, "Whoa, that's the video." And he was like, "Yeah, they never released it, but he showed it to us." And you know, I laughed because I never got to see that video, but I knew we had done it because the song was huge. It was a huge song, but they never released the video. And very few people have actually seen it. There, you know, there are a few people that have actually seen that video, but it was never released. But it was so much fun for us just to be there to dance to this song that we heard in the clubs all the time, and like we're gonna be in the video. And then you know, the video was never released. It was a big letdown, but you know, I can say.
So do you have the video like still now?
No, if I had the video, I would have posted it already. I would have shown the world. I wouldn't have cared. That's why I don't have the video, because if I had it, it would be on Instagram now. Yeah, I would have been posted it. I mean, it was a great video, man. We had a good time. And it was just funny to me because I got to tour with these guys later. And we laughed at it because it was like, wow, you know, last year we were trying to do this video and now we're on a tour of the country, and it's like it was a trip. And it still makes me
right
30 plus years later, and I still can laugh because I'm like, wow, I did this video. Nobody's ever gonna see it.
So not only with Eric B and Rakim, you have also been with legends like Michael Jackson, Will Smith. So how was your experience with Michael Jackson and with Will Smith?
Well, Will, again, this first tour that I did, that's where I met Will, when he was the Fresh Prince with Jazzy Jeff. We toured together. Then that's how I got to work with him years later. His one of the guys that manages his career now manages his son. His name is Omar Rambert. He used to be a dancer for Will. And so, you know, thanks to my boy Cliff, I met them on tour, and then I used to go down to Philly and hang out with them in Philadelphia. And so years later, when Will was doing his music videos, Omar was telling him, like, we got to get stretched because he dope choreography, got a dope crew. And, you know, over time, you know, Omar made it happen. And, you know, he called me out of the blue and was like, meet me at the studio here in New York. And I met him and Will, and they're like, we're doing this movie and we want you to do the choreography for it. And here's the song, and get your crew, and we're booking your tickets. And I'm like, okay. And literally, like, the next week, we were on a flight to LA to shoot this movie and to run this video, run an audition, and train Will in the day and do the audition at night, and train Will in the day and do the choreography at night. It was crazy, but it was fun, you know, because Will is such a great person. You know, he's the same way you see him in his roles, where he's this happy-go-lucky guy. That's who he really is. You know, it's not him acting. You know, he's really like that. He's really one of the best people I've ever met. And he's a really outgoing, really loving person. And so to work with him was so much fun because he made it fun. You know, he laughed. He never took himself too seriously. And he was always willing to put in the work, but he never put in the, you know, he never took it to the point of, like, I got to get this absolutely correct. Like, it wasn't that serious. It was about, you know, expression and having a good time. And he made sure that everybody else felt like that throughout the entire process.
Right. So going back again to those old golden days when you used to go to clubs and, you know, have cypher, have good time. So have you ever been called out by someone at that time?
All the time. See, that's the difference. That's what I say to people now. That's why I don't call these dance contests battles, because they're not battles. They're dance contests. They have judges. They have time limits. They have venues. They have DJs that play specific music for you. No, battles happen for us. People would run up on you on the street. Like, one time I was literally at the supermarket with my mother, and I saw a guy that I knew danced, and he was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "What you want?" You know, but we couldn't battle there because I'm in the supermarket with my mother. But of course, I'm gonna see you. And when I saw him, we battled. We battled right in front of on the school steps, you know, and I beat him. You know, and it's the same way in the club. People would, if you came into the club and you danced and no one knew who you were, everybody battled you because they wanted to know who's this person, and they wanted to see if your skills were, you know, on par to even get in the cipher and represent with us, because we know, you know, it's such a thing that it wasn't taught, but it's a thing called cipher etiquette. You knew that if the cipher is going on and these people are rocking out, if you're not up to snuff, don't get in that cipher. Watch and learn, you know. And so that's how it was for us in the clubs. And if somebody came out of nowhere, then you like, you know this dude, you know this dude, you know her? No, the battle's on. You know, and then afterwards, if that person was good, you became friends. And then that person got in a cipher and was on the same thing. A new person came, that person would be like, you know this person, you know? Boom, then there's the battle again. That's how, you know, people used to meet. That's how we met each other. And sometimes, you know, it wasn't just guys. It was girls, too. A girl would jump in the cipher, and the guys would try to battle her, and she smoke everybody. And then they have to come and get me or somebody else like, yo, she's dope. You got to get her. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, so that kind of thing happened all the time, you know.
So why these things are not happening now? Why? I mean,
the clubs are about, you got to understand, back then the clubs were about the music and the atmosphere. Now clubs are about how many drinks you're going to buy at the bar and how much you're going to pay to get in. They don't care about the dancing anymore. They don't care about the music anymore. It's just like, sell drinks, sell drinks. People got to drink. You know, there's as many bottles of champagne as you can sell. You know, let's get the bottles of vodka popping. You know, get all of that. That's what counts. They don't care about anything else, because that's where they think that the money's in. But back in the 80s and 90s, the clubs understood that if the music was good and the vibe wasn't good, everybody's going to drink and party, and more people will come. The more people you can hold in the place, the more people there are to buy drinks. Yeah. They don't have that mentality anymore. Now it's just like, you know, they have these little lounges and they want people to come in and smoke and drink and talk. They don't want you to dance.
So what, like, it can be one, or it can be, you know, more than one. What things you miss today, which were there back in those days, in early, say, 80s, 90s, 70s?
Well, I didn't party in the 70s. I was a kid. But I don't actually miss much. The one thing that I miss is the club itself, because that was my practice place. You know, people like you guys have sessions. You practice in studios and you get together, and our session was the club. You know, that's what I mean. When we would go out, that was our session. Live music, live people, live in the moment dancing. You know, and that's what I miss, because we don't get that much anymore. You know, I used to live for those moments, to be able to go out and just dance, not teaching, not performing, not explaining anything, just going all out to the music expression of how it make me feel and what it means to me, you know, spiritually. That's what I miss, because I don't get to do that anymore.
Like you said that you always go to club for practicing, for battles, and to grow, basically to grow yourself. But in today's, the new generation, what the new generation is doing, they are entering the battle just to win it. So why this mentality shift has been there?
Well, because the means, it's the same way now everybody's, you know, doing TikTok videos. They think that this is a tool to use to get noticed. And in a way, they're right, it is. But the difference being, then it's the why. We didn't go to the club to get noticed for, you know, battles or jobs or anything. We went to get noticed by girls. Okay, that was our, you know, this is what we were doing. We were trying to get noticed by the ladies. That's all that mattered.
Right.
You know, If you won a battle or you lost a battle, nobody cares. If the girls liked you, you won, even if you lost. You know, and that's the difference. You know, for us, that's what it was about. It was about, you know, the music first and foremost, because you wanted to, you know, feel the music and express how that felt. And once you expressed that, you knew that if if your expression was on point, somebody's gonna feel what you do, and hopefully that somebody's good looking. So that was the thing. You know, we didn't have the outlets or the tools that you guys have now, and there was no money involved. You know, we weren't doing it for a stepping stone to something else. There was no money to be made. We weren't thinking in those terms. We weren't thinking of, oh, you know, I'm going to get on TV or I'm going to go on tour. Nobody knew anything about any of that. We didn't think that was even possible. We were just going to the club to dance, to rock to the music, to meet girls. And you went, that's what you paid for every week. Paid for to get in the club, get your dance on, get a drink, meet some ladies, maybe have a little bit money to get something to eat afterwards, and go home and do it all over again the next week. Because and then you met new friends. You know, you made new friends, new acquaintances. You met the DJs that played. You met the artists that came to the club, because sometimes the artists would stay in the club after they perform and hang out. You know, you met the bouncers at the club, because they let you in every week. And if they saw that you were making an impact with the ladies, they wanted to be around. So maybe that impact rubbed off on them and they might meet, you know, one of the ladies. That was the whole thing. It was about the moment. You know, it wasn't about using this moment for another moment. It was never about that. It was just about the moment. You know, and now people, and it's nothing wrong with it, but you guys have so many other tools, and it's a whole different time. But still, from our perspective, it should still first and foremost be the love of the music and the culture that will take off, that will make everything else take off for you.
Right. So, sir, let's rejoin it again, because an hour is completed and the live will automatically shut. So let's rejoin it again.
Okay. No worries.
Yeah. Yes.